sheets of paper.
You know, this guy's childhood beats everything I have ever read in my life.
Are you comfortable there?
Honestly.
Yeah, it was atrocious.
I found myself thinking, no wonder, no wonder he had such a terrible, terrible life. My God, his father, his mother, everybody was nutsy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, when you meet him, you're astounded that he is as, quote, well-adjusted as he is.
And he's got how many more years to serve?
He'll be out in 2015. Probably mid-2013 if his behavior's good.
Yeah,
he's got
exactly.
to do it 85% time.
Okay. But you got to talk about his childhood. I'm telling you.
Sure.
When I read about that, I thought, oh, that poor kid. I mean, he just really, he didn't know which way was up, literally.
No, not at all. I mean, he was really just bushwhacked by fate.
Yeah, absolutely. And yet, I mean, his father started out sort of reasonably, sort of.
Trying to do the right thing.
Exactly.
There were legitimate jobs that his father held, but his father was a criminal himself, ultimately.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a great cover.
Oh, isn't it beautiful?
I
was so happy when I saw that.
Wonderful.
You never know what you're going to get,
Yeah, who designed it for you?
I got to get his name or her name.
Todd.
There we go.
Well, the author photograph is Todd.
Yeah, that's my friend Todd.
The jacket design is Ray Lundgren.
Ray Lundgren.
Uh-huh.
Never met him, but he's
Never
great.
met him, but he's terrific. Yeah. No, I couldn't stop reading this yesterday. I was doing all kinds of stuff, and I just found myself thinking, oh my heavens, I cannot believe all this.
It's nuts.
Okay. Thanks for joining us. I'm Diane Rehm. Arthur Williams is a craftsman who learned his trade from a man nicknamed Da Vinci. This particular Da Vinci taught the age-old art of counterfeiting. Under his tutelage, Williams went on to become one of the most skilled counterfeiters of the last quarter century. His masterpiece, a perfect replica of what was once the most secure U.S. banknote ever made, the 1996 $100 bill. Journalist Jason Kersten details the story of this master counterfeiter in a new book. It's titled The Art of Making Money. He joins me in the studio. I hope you'll join us as well. Call us on 800-433-8850. Send us your email to drshow@wamu.org. Jason Kersten, what a story you've told.
Thank you.
I must say, in reading about his childhood, I found myself thinking, this has got to be the most ghastly way a kid can be brought into this world one could ever imagine. Talk about him as a young boy.
Well, that was one of the most surprising discoveries as I researched the book and got to know him better. He started out as quite a gifted young lad. He had skipped 2 grades by the time he was 11.
Very, very bright.
Yeah.
Always at the top of his class.
Right, and one of the things that sort of developed that in him was that his family was constantly moving around all the time, not a very stable family at all. His father was an on-and-off crook himself, a paper hanger, and his mother was mentally ill. and his father also had a mistress, and he was constantly going back and forth between the two. And so that was really the only stability he had as a child, which was his mind and his creativity. Now, when his father abandoned the family completely at the age of when Art was 12 years old, uh, just right after that, the mom was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia.
She really had a total breakdown.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't feed the kids, was sitting there just totally demoralized.
So they wound up in the Bridgeport Homes, which was a housing project in the south side of Chicago. And really just a couple months after they got there was just no food in the house because his mother had an episode, wasn't taking her medication, and for 2 days the children were starving.
They were crying, weeping, just
They were hungry.
Yeah,
they were
of course.
just an animal need. And Art, being the oldest of 3 kids, and at that time he was about 12, he goes out into the streets. He doesn't want to go to social services because he's afraid they'll take his mother away, which had happened to him before. And he starts knocking on the parking meters on Halsted Street. And he can hear the change in them, and he thinks, if I can just get that, I can get some food. And so he builds a little key that'll unlock some of these change boxes on Halsted Street, gets about $50, and him and his little brother go to a grocery store and come back with food. And of course, he saves the day. And, his mother is very proud of him for that. And that is the first crime he ever committed, was out of survival. And being in those projects where there's also a gang, he quickly realizes that that's how people are making money there.
Well, and of course he raids many parking meters before the police finally catch up and realize that somebody is unlocking these meters, so they put new locks on the meters. He saves that little key that he devised. What a brilliant guy he was to begin with. I mean, his artistry. He entered an art competition, came out on top.
This was when he was in a boys' home for a period when his mother was hospitalized. And he had wound up in a boys' home, and his school, he was still attending the same school, and they had an art contest. And one of the older boys in the boys' home helped him learn how to draw and helped hone his abilities as an artist. And so he enters the contest and he wins.
He wins the contest, and we are not here to glorify a criminal, but on the other hand, this young man had so much talent. He was so gifted. Had he been able to put this talent to use in some other way, he could clearly have legitimately made quite a name and quite a living for himself.
I think so, and I think that's one of the real tragedies of this story. And one of the things I tried to explore and capture was this transformation from this brilliant, glowing little boy into an arch criminal.
We're talking about a new book. It's titled The Art of Making Money, the story of a master counterfeiter. Do join us, 800-433-8850. Send us your email to drshow@wamu.org. We're talking about a man named Arthur Williams who did become a master counterfeiter. He is now serving time in prison after he was ultimately caught, and we'll, of course, throughout the hour be bringing you more of the story. We do look forward to hearing from you, 800-433-8850. He actually shared his secrets with you.
He did. I had to keep pressing him. He was very reluctant at first. He had spent years perfecting his craft, and especially with the 96 New Note, which was his masterpiece.
Why did he particularly go after that one?
I think there were a couple reasons. I think first and foremost, he was proud of the job he did on this bill, and he wanted recognition, I think, just for his pure craftsmanship and abilities. I think woven into that motivation was also the idea that he wanted to stop. He wanted to quit, and by confessing to a journalist in his method and his secrets, in many ways he was committing criminal suicide.